Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, it is so great to have you. I'm Antoinette, a New Zealander living in Germany. And some of you will already know that just 2 months ago I gave birth to my third child here in Germany. And when I look back to my very first pregnancy here in Germany, I was actually pleasantly surprised by some of the German vocabulary in relation to pregnancy and childbirth. A lot of people actually consider German to be quite a harsh sounding language, so I was surprised to learn that some of these words sounded very soft and nurturing in comparison to the English versions of these words. So I'm going to be sharing with you some of my favorite German words in relation to childbirth and pregnancy. But before I get into it, I would like to thank Speakly for kindly partnering with me in this video today. Speakly is a unique and highly effective language learning app. It has a variety of different languages, including English and German, which you can learn comfortably from your smartphone or computer. Speakly was actually founded by 2 polyglots who speak 7 languages each and have had 20 years experience between them in teaching and researching languages. So what makes Speakly so unique is that it is very vocabulary focused. It uses words and sentences based on their everyday, real-life statistical relevance. So what this means is every word you learn is statistically relevant in real life, which actually leads to faster fluency. Speakly not only focuses on vocabulary, but on reading and writing, on memory, and actually putting that language to practice by speaking it. This is extremely important for gaining the confidence you need for fast fluency. During this lockdown period in Germany, I have definitely not been getting enough practice speaking German outside the home, so Speakly has been so helpful for me to brush up on my German vocabulary and my conversational skills in the comfort of my own home. So if you're interested in checking out Speakly for free, I will leave a link for where you can do that in my description below. I will also leave a 40% discount code for their premium studies. So guys, as you can see, my darling little boy Luca has woken up from his nap just in time to talk about the awesome German words related to birth and pregnancy. So the first word I'm going to talk about actually means uterus in English, which I think sounds very clinical and it's just not the nicest word, uterus. So the word for uterus in German is actually Gebärmutter. So I'm not a native German speaker, this is how it is pronounced on Google Translate. Gebärmutter. So as I mentioned, the English translation for Gebärmutter actually is uterus, but you could also say womb, which sounds a little bit nicer than uterus. But in German it has an even different meaning, which means the birth mother, which I think is so beautiful and so powerful sounding. I love that it has the word mother in there. It feels just so warm and nurturing, and I think it's a much nicer translation than womb or uterus. Gebärmutter. Okay, so next up, the meaning for amniotic fluid in German is Fruchtwasser. And so this is how it's pronounced on Google Translate. Fruchtwasser. Fruchtwasser. That's actually really hard for a native English speaker to pronounce. It actually translates to fruit water, the fruit water, which, how beautiful is that? I think that sounds so nice. Amniotic fluid sounds, once again, so clinical and just not very nice. Okay, so moving on to the German word for cervix. I don't know whether I like the German translation or not. It definitely sounds a lot more personal than cervix, which once again is very clinical sounding. But the German word for cervix is Muttermund. This is how Google Translate pronounces it. Muttermund. And it actually means, wait for it, the mother mouth. So mother mouth, you could look at it as quite a positive thing, you know. I've never really thought of the cervix in that way, but it does sound very, I don't know, powerful and very personal instead of something clinical. So once again, it really surprised me, the word for cervix, Muttermund. Okay, so next up is a word that is not directly related to childbirth or pregnancy, but it's postpartum, which is all connected. And this is breastfeeding or nursing in English. And this is something we do a lot of, don't we, Luca? The German word for breastfeeding is stillen. And I love this. This is how it's pronounced by Google Translate. Stillen. Stillen. The translation of stillen is actually still, like calming, relaxing. And I think that is so beautiful because breastfeeding is a very, oh, bless you, darling. I think that's a really beautiful translation. Calming, still, peaceful. It's definitely something that I associate breastfeeding with. It's something like a very special time that you spend with your baby, and it should be relaxing and it should be calm and gentle. And I love that instead of just breastfeeding or nursing, it is stillen, which I think is really beautiful and really special. Okay, so next up is something that really surprised me. It's something I was not expecting, and that is the German translation for placenta or afterbirth, because the placenta is not something very pretty. But the German translation implies that the placenta, the afterbirth, is something quite beautiful. The German translation is actually Mutterkuchen. So this is how Google pronounces it.
Der Mutterkuchen.
Der Mutterkuchen. And this actually means the mother cake, which, I don't know, it's like if you see a placenta and you think of cake, oh, I don't know. So I never really associated the placenta with a cake. It actually kind of grosses me out thinking about it. But it is definitely a much nicer translation. It makes the placenta, instead of something disgusting, it turns it into something really nice and beautiful. And why not? You know, it's all part of life, and it's all part of the human body and the female anatomy, and you know, after birth it's part of life, so why not make it something beautiful? And last but not least, the German word for breast milk is actually Muttermilch. So this is how Google pronounces it.
Die Muttermilch.
Die Muttermilch, which directly translates to the breast milk, and it actually means mother's milk, more specifically in German, mother's milk. I think it sounds so much nicer than breast milk. Mother's milk, milk that has come from the mother. Instead of focusing on the breast, it's focusing on the mother, and I just think it sounds beautiful. It sounds just more nurturing, and just, I think it sounds nicer. Mother's milk as opposed to breast milk. So guys, I don't know about you, but I have been pleasantly surprised by some of the German vocabulary in regards to birth and postpartum and pregnancy. I think that a lot of the words are just a lot more personal, warmer, just a lot more nurturing than the English words, which I feel, as I mentioned, some of them are quite clinical and sterile and just not as nice. There's definitely a lot more to the German language than people realize, and it's one of the reasons why I think German is a beautiful language in many ways. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you can think of any other really nice German words in relation to childbirth and pregnancy or postpartum, then let me know in the comment section below. Also guys, just a reminder, if you're interested in checking out Speakly, I will leave a link for where you can do that in my description below, including a 40% discount code on their premium classes. Oh no, Luca's got the hiccups again. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I would love you to consider subscribing to my channel. Feel free to connect with me on Instagram, and oh sweetie, and I will see you again really soon.